Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Ramco Cement Limited Q2 FY22 and H1 FY22 results conference call hosted by ICICI Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then zero on your touchtone telephone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rushad Kapadia from ICICI Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Melissa. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Q2 and H1 FY22 results conference call for the Ramco Cement Limited. We have with us from the management Mr. P.R. Venkatrama Raja, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. A.V. Dharmakrishnan, Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. S. Vaidyanathan, Chief Financial Officer. So without further delay, I would now like to hand over the floor to the management for their opening comments. Thank you, and over to you, sirs.
Good evening and welcome to this conference. Basically, we are here to take your questions. I think our press release has been quite clear, and the key performance for quarter 2 financial year 2022, our revenue has grown by 19%, and but our EBITDA has come down by 11%. This is despite the huge increase in costs. And as you know, we've also changed our tax to the new tax regime, which is going to be beneficial for us in the future. And our profit after tax has gone up by quite a bit.
This is the operator. I'm sorry to interrupt. Management, we are unable to hear you clearly.
Hello.
Participants, please stay connected while we check the line for the management. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on hold. We have the line for the management now reconnected. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everybody, and sorry for we dropped off. Sorry for the inconvenience. Welcome to the investor update for quarter 2 of financial year 2022. And just to give you the highlights, because I think you have seen the results already. Just to give you the highlights, our revenue has grown by 19% for quarter 2 financial year 2022 compared to financial year 21. And our EBITDA has dropped by 11%. This is despite the huge increase in costs. And our profit before tax has also subsequently dropped by 19%. But our profit after tax has grown up because of the write back since we are going to the new tax regime. And these are the highlights, and I'd like you to hand over and get on with your questions.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may enter star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If your questions have been answered and you wish to withdraw yourself from the queue, you may enter star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have the first question from the line of Ritesh Shah from Investec. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity, sir. My first question, sir, pertains to the fuel mix. Thanks for the detailed presentation. This is on one of the slides. Sir, we see a very stark jump from 7% to 28% on alternate fuel. This is very encouraging. Wanted to understand, sir, whether this is a sustainable number. What is the cost economics? So that's one. And secondly, for the balance 72%, how should one look at it? In the press release, you have indicated about cost inflation but would like to understand how should one look at this metric on a rupees per kcal basis, probably for the next quarter and quarter after, or the implied price ask. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. See, whether sustainable alternative fuel again depends upon the cost. See, I can't tell you today what percentage is sustainable, what percentage is not sustainable, because every day we are looking at, okay, what are the various sources of fuel available to us and what is the cost per KL. See, that exercise is going on in every day. Believe me, it is carried on every day. So, depending upon availability, because certain fuels may be available for some time, then once the competitor comes to know about it, immediately they jack up the price by 4 times, 5 times, not even 1 time or 2 times. There are certain sources where we are able to get significant quantity, but next time when we go to the same buyer, the prices, the inflation is 400% to 500%. So sometimes I may not be able to say which source, what alternate fuel I am using. Also, I may not be able to say very specifically, but we are searching for every alternate fuel what is available in the market. Number one. Number two, yes, the fuel mix depending upon per KL, what is the fuel mix available on the day or for the month. I can say it is not for the day if it is a high order, for the month. So today we can't say what particular fuel mix or what particular material is available for us to use. But I can confidently say I have inventory of at least 3.5 to 4 months at reasonably good price. And maybe my inflation from the current quarter will be 10 to 15%.
That's quite useful. Sir, you said 3.5 to 4 months, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite useful, sir. Thank you so much.
What is physically available in the factory, I'm telling.
Okay, that's quite useful. Great, thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Indrajit from CLSA. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. My question is more on the CAPEX and the project commissioning side. We have seen a sharp jump up in the CAPEX in first half. So how should we look at this year's full year CAPEX, and for the rest of the commissioning, how much CAPEX is required? So what would the CAPEX in FY23 and 24?
See, as far as the CAPEX is concerned, last 3-4 years, with good R&D facilities available with Ramco Cement, very well, many forums I also told that we are producing right cement for the right application. That concept is picking up nice in the market. So to deliver that, we have to invest a lot in our own infrastructure, like more silos, more packing, and we have to strengthen our supply chain. All these things we undergo sort of changes, and last 2-3 years we are spending a lot of money on that. Even now we are also strengthening more because we are in the process of developing many more products so that we can segmentize the cement requirement of different people, and we can have constant buyer. See, those people should stick with us irrespective of the price changes. That is the concept we are working, and whatever steps taken so far has given good results. But definitely the COVID has disturbed our efforts to some extent. But now that the COVID is little behind us, we are able to step up our efforts towards right cement for right application. Also to make more users to understand what is called right cement for right application. Not only the users, I have to educate my dealers, because the cement dealer community so far last 30-40 years, to my knowledge, they were competing only on price. See, now we are educating the dealers. There is no question of price. We should compete only on quality and service. See, that is the education taking place. Okay, once they are educated, but really we should deliver it. To deliver it, it requires a lot of infrastructure facilities. We are spending on that. So definitely whatever projected CAPEX expenditures, definitely there is some increase, but all these things in long way will reduce our cost significantly. Also, it increase our value-added product very significantly.
Sure, that's helpful. Any guidance for this year and next year? What could be the CAPEX spend for FY20?
See, the capex spent already spent so far is almost 902 crores. Already we given the press release also. So the expected is around 400 crores. And 2021-22 also the expected capex will be around 400 crores. 400 to 500 crores.
So second half will be 400 crore and FY23 will be 500 crore addition. Is that?
Yeah, you are right. You are right. So maybe 50-60 crores plus or minus.
Yeah, that's cool. And my second question is on the delay in the Kurnool project. We understand there has been 2 waves of COVID in between. So what kind of confidence we have that we will be able to do it in this fiscal year, or what could be the pointers we should look at to see if there could be further slippages in that time?
Sorry, can you repeat?
No, I understood that. See, as far as the Kurnool is concerned, whether it is fortunate, unfortunate, now wherever we put up the plant is raining very heavily. They have record rains of the century. See, Kurnool is they never seen rain. But the day we started the project, every day it is raining. Even last month they have record rains. So only apart from the COVID, the COVID and also the continued rains, they spoiled our game plan. See, now that rain, everything is settled. Definitely, we are also, apart from the contractors, we are given a contract to L&T. So they are trying to do their best, and we are also mobilized people more than what L&T can do. We are also put our own contractors. So we are trying our best to complete the clinker up to clinker at least by middle of next month or end of next month. Definitely we can do that. See, the question is, I can commission the plant even tomorrow, but it should run continuously with the rated output. See, our way of doing things is not, once the plant is commissioned, we should reach the rated capacity within a week's time, not more than that. Okay, to that extent, we are very particular about completing all the jobs, not the question of doing some jobs so that we can start the clean, then we can stabilize. We don't do such jobs. So it is taking some time, but definitely 100%. Now I'm confident up to clinker definitely will go November end or December 15th latest, and the cement will be commissioned by April.
Sure. Thank you so much. I have more questions. I'll come back in later.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Amit Murarka from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening. So my first question is on fuel cost. So as you've shown in your presentation, both petcoke and coal has gone up substantially, and now in fact seems like petcoke is about 10% cheaper than coal. So my question is, in 2Q doesn't look like there has been much inflation on a QOQ basis. You've mentioned the cost is $113. So is the inventory of old fuel now over with you? And if yes, then what is the kind of inflation that we can expect from a 3Q, 4Q perspective?
In the second quarter, the inflation will be around 15%.
Okay,
third quarter, the inflation will be around 15%.
But I remember in 1Q you had mentioned the actual cost are $110 to $15 per ton, and this quarter also it's been $113. So from there, I thought it was flat QOQ.
No, prices are going up. Every day we are consuming, the prices are going up, and prices are not coming down.
Okay, sure.
So you know what is the spot price today, $225.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Then how it will come down, tell me.
Yeah, of course. So in that context, I just
we can't do magic. See, we can't do magic. We can be efficient, but we can't do any magic things. So definitely, see, just I can be a little better than the industry, but I can't drastically different from the industry. So even whatever fuel costs, whatever we incur, definitely it is one of the lowest in the industry.
Right. No, of course. But I wanted to understand, what is the kind of inflation we can expect from, let's say, a 3Q?
Only 15%. It is around 15%.
15%. Okay. And AFR, if I could understand correctly, you said that right now it's 28%, but you're not sure if it can be maintained at 28%. Is that understanding correct?
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
So what could be a sustainable level that we can look at, that maybe at least this much will be done and beyond?
I told you, we are searching for it every day. If you tell me some source tomorrow, I will take that.
Okay.
We are requesting every our stakeholder telling that, okay, any source of AFR, please keep us informed. We are telling our users, we are telling our stockists, we are telling every stakeholder possible. Even I am requesting you, if any AFR known to you, please inform me.
Sure. And also, second question is on working capital.
So no, not for joke. Seriously, I'm telling. Don't think I want to counter with this one. Seriously, I'm telling that is our effort.
Okay. No, I highly appreciate actually your frankness on that. And
in fact, last source some banker only told me, so I'm able to even take the help of the banker to get some AFR source.
Okay. No, that's very appreciative of you that you are so open to suggestions. But second question is on working capital. So this quarter it seems to have expanded. Is it just seasonal in nature, or how do we look at it?
No, when petcoke price from $40 to go to $150, what will happen?
Okay. So got it. But at the same time, your selling prices have also gone up. So shouldn't it be offset by payables and the dealer credits and advances that you get?
The Madras Cement, this one is receive in spot, pay also in spot.
Okay.
We will have the lowest receivable, also lowest payable. We don't take suppliers as our bankers.
Okay, sure. And just the last question is on Maharashtra. Like you had mentioned that you're looking for a grinding unit there, So has it been finalized? What is it?
It is not finalized. We are looking for this place. We are looking for some suitable place.
Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Pinakin from JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. So my first question is that while we have talked about petcoke and thermal coal, the fact is that there is all-round cost inflation because of oil prices moving higher, packaging costs. So if you take the September quarter as a base, how much do you see operating cost per ton move higher over the next 1 to 2 quarters in terms of rupees per ton across the board, everything included?
See, as far as the packing material is concerned, we are buying every month. We don't have any long-term contracts. So I can't tell specifically what can be the inflation, because whatever polymer price on first of every month, we used to give them subsequent month. So I don't have any long-term contract with any my polymer supplies. So whatever you take, whatever the inflation, you can take whatever the base price of today, and after 1 month, that will be my inflation cost. As far as the petcoke is concerned, I told you we have the inventory of 3.5 to 4 months. So every month we recoup whatever we consume. So today, that is my policy. Normally, when the price is low, we used to cover for 5-6 months, even little more than that. See, now that the prices are rolling very high, we have certain base stock so that even there is small disturbance in the supply chain, our production should not be affected. And whatever we consume, we try to buy that with whatever the spot price and whatever maybe sometimes distress cargo comes. All these used to take that advantage. So to our estimate, definitely the fuel prices will go up by 15% in the third quarter. Beyond that, I don't have the estimate.
Sure, sir. So now, sir, coming from the fuel prices to NSRs and EBITDA per ton, essentially there was a roughly 300 rupee per ton drop in EBITDA per ton Q on Q. So now if you were to go back and maintain Q1's EBITDA per ton, what kind of blended NSR increase does the company need to take and what is the situation on the ground at this point of time?
See, definitely the need for price increase is felt by the industry because otherwise whatever the prices last month or last before month is not sustainable for the operations of the company. So different market definitely players understood because unless we pass on the price increase, definitely we can't sustain our operations. So definitely prices are to that extent we are trying our best to increase the price to offset our cost. We are also, say, Ramco Cement, say, Pioneer, we are also educating our dealers what are all the costs going up, why is it increasing, because otherwise the dealers feel that, okay, the costs are going, the price are increased arbitrarily. That impression we don't want to give. So we started educating even our users and we are conducting a number of meetings now to explain to our channels what are the cost increase and why, because the diesel prices are going up every day. coal is not available, not because of price. The coal is not available, and all these things were explained to the people. Now we are able to understand also why the industries increase the prices. Unless before that, people think arbitrarily companies are increasing the price. See, with our initiatives, we are able to understand. Okay, the people also understand the need, so that in the industry can sustain their operations.
Sure, sir. So just to clarify, as management, do you see the company returning back to the June quarter EBITDA per ton in the second half, or should we take the second quarter as more likely given what is happening with cost across the board?
No, very difficult to say, but definitely first quarter is possible.
Understood. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Kamlesh Bagmar from Prabhudas Lilladher. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the opportunity. So just referring to your Q1 conference call, so we mentioned that there is roughly around 400 crore of capex spending on projects at the Q1 end. And in this quarter alone, we have roughly around 500 crore of capex done. And we are guiding that there would be another 400 to 500 crore capex that would be there in the second half. So what all the items or the segments where we are spending or there has been increased or elevated spending?
Yeah. See, at that time, I not announced the Aranagar project expansion. So now that I announced the Aranagar project expansion, there the project expenses also, we have to take it account. See, while Q1, I not announced the Aranagar project. See, now the Aranagar project will cost around 600, around 500 crores. So that also we have to take into account. See, also some grinding units I'm taking into account. Some grinding units I not announced before. So now we started looking at the grinding units. That is why I told, just I'm telling, there will be 500 crores balance capital expenditure. Next year also there will be 400 to 500 crores capital expenditure. Because these things we started planning now very quickly, and we have to execute the projects also.
Okay. And so secondly, if we see...
there are one or two things you should also keep in mind. See, the guidance I can give you a particular quarter because without announcing stock market, I can't, without even discussing with the board or without announcing the stock market, I can't give you the guidance. You should understand that. So sometimes if I'm not able to give certain information to stock exchange, I can't discuss with you people also. So there may be some changes after the press conference also. So don't take, okay, we're not envisaged.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, and over and above that, maintenance capex will also be there. So this is mainly on the growth capex side.
See, the maintenance capex already been incurred a lot last 2-3 years. So the maintenance capex will be very minimum because last 3-4 years because I told you we are in the process of that transition to right cement for right application. We built lot of infrastructure. So in that connection, we spent a lot of money on maintenance capex. So the maintenance capex will not be that big. It will be very minimum. It will be bare minimum.
And so secondly, on the power and fuel cost, like if we see the companies who have reported the numbers till now, so UltraTech reported 17% increase in their power and fuel cost. Then ACC had roughly around 27% increase, and similar increase has been there in our case as well. Despite the fact that green power share has almost gone up from 5% to 15%, and we had the highest share of AFR. So despite that, we have seen the similar increase in the power and fuel cost, though we had the benefit of higher WHR and AFR. So like say AFR is almost at par with other like say primary fuels, or it is at a minimal discount?
Well, it is sometimes we got a big discount, sometimes a minimal discount. Both happens.
Okay.
No, you please work out the real cost difference. Then definitely our cost increase is not that much. You work out.
Okay. And so lastly,
please work out yourself over this. So I don't want to claim myself. You can work out from the numbers given.
So lastly, like say if we see last 10-12 years, so whenever the volume growth has been there, we had been absent on the price growth. So that has been the case over the last 10-12 years. So how confident are this time that we have added significant capacity and like say both at Kadapa greenfield plant and the brownfield both has come up. So would we be like say silent enough or patient enough to push the volumes at the cost of like say lower margins? Would there be some difference this time around?
No, do you mean to say only when Ramco expanded prices come down?
So, but like say whoever adds it.
No, then that is the case with everybody is expanding now. See, don't say that whenever we expanded the prices come down. See, the industry is expanding, so the prices ups and down is normal phenomenon. Nothing to do with Ramco's expansion, anybody's expansion. See, the prices cannot remain same. So it may be true with any industry. Take the steel industry, take any industry, the prices will be ups and down. So don't attribute to the expansion or to at least my expansion.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Rajesh Ravi from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Mr. Ravi, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Congrats on great set of numbers. Particularly on the volume growth is quite heartening. So
thank you. You are the only analyst to congratulate me. Thank you. At least you appreciate our efforts.
Yes. So now 2Q has been so strong. What should we look at the particularly on the volume growth for the second half? What sort of number we should work with? Do you see a similar volume growth to be possible in the second half?
So please appreciate with all the constraints of our main market, still under main market is affected. Kerala is our very, very important market that was affected by COVID till last month. Then heavy rains. Then entire Tamil Nadu also we had unseasonal rains. Then in Odisha, Bengal we had 2-3 cyclones. With all these things we are able to have some decent growth and also decent profits. So once all these things are settled, we can estimate what can be our strength.
Okay. No, I just wanted to understand, like, is there more to it? Like, you can achieve
that's with all the constraints we are able to achieve this. Once the constraint is not there, then you can just
okay.
So you yourself can estimate what can be our strength.
Sure. Understood. So with market opening up, there are more rooms for you. That is the thought you are leaving us.
Yeah, you are right.
Yes. And secondly, on the costing, you said that, a 15% inflation is expected on December versus...
Only fuel cost. I not told total.
Yeah, on a total, yeah. So around, that would mean around 150 rupees, power and fuel together, or only on half of that you are looking at?
See, and fuel cost to 15%. The logistics cost, I don't know, diesel every day because I can't...
No, electricity cost,
It's only fuel cost.
Power.
So that is one.
Power.
The individual element, you can know. The individual element-wise, suppose the diesel price increased by another 10 rupees. So I can't have it because it is going to have effect on both incoming as well as outgoing material.
Correct. No, I was talking about more...
Nothing is predictable today. See, I can't, today if you say, no, sir, last call, you told me this number. See, based on Assan, today I can tell something. See, nobody is able to predict. Have you ever predicted the diesel prices go up like this?
Correct.
You ever predicted the petrol prices can go from $40 to $250? Never in the history of my at least career.
Correct. So
even if it goes normally in my earlier 2008, 2013, the price goes up by 2 to 3 months, then it settles down very fast. But this time I'm not seeing any sign of settling down. We don't know. It is very uncertain.
Uncertain, right.
So that is why, not only with Ramco, don't hold any company for any numbers because they are very uncertain.
True,
okay,
sir.
Today 250 can come down to $100 also, it can collapse to $100 also at any time, or it will go to $300 also.
Correct.
Because the entire supply chain is disturbed in the world for various reasons.
Yes. I was talking more from the electricity cost, given that even thermal domestic coal prices...
Yeah, that is why electricity cost also depends upon my coal and power and coal. Yeah. Again, coal
so
cost.
On a total basis, you are looking at those numbers.
Yeah. Because that is why we commissioned our WHR. We are seeing how efficiently we can WHR, what improvements we can make in WHR. So all the efforts are going on.
Okay. And sir,
Tamil Nadu, we thought we never can put WHR. Here also we are our own way with what are the constraints we have. to install WHR, but different way we have installed, we are getting benefits also. We are putting up more capacities also.
Okay. And sir, on the capex that you outlined for 900 plus 500 odd second half, and next year another 500. This how much is the capex spending now for the Kurnool project?
The Kurnool projects, the capex spending will be only some 300. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, maybe around 400 crores, some 300 crores spending. Sorry, 300
to 400 would be the Kurnool project. The NCPuram will get come. And this grinding you said will come in by 1Q of next year, right?
No, we'll start. We'll start.
Sorry?
No. No. Kurnool grinding will come in the first quarter of next year. You're right.
Right. And the clinker you expect to come by fourth quarter, and Kurnool by grinding by first Q. Okay. And this RR Nagar will come by end of 23. Okay. Great, sir. I'll come back in queue. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Gautami Desai from Chanakya Capital Services. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, I understand that prices can go up because of prices can go up and down because of two reasons. One is the cost, over which we have no control, and another is the capacity utilization goes up across the industry. And now, since MCA has stopped declaring data of the capacities coming up, life of cement analysts has become very difficult. So can you kind of, help us with, what you've been hearing around from your friends, your colleagues, what is the kind of capacity increase that we can expect over next 2 to 3 years? I can understand that the larger and the organized players, we do get their plans, but there are various other small players. So all of them put together, what would be your best guess?
See, it is very difficult to say that because, if you take the capacity addition, there are two types of capacity coming up. One is integrated plant, another is grinding capacities.
Yeah.
See, whatever hearing from the machinery suppliers, also from our circle, the more grinding capacities are coming up rather than the integrated capacities. Okay, to the extent whatever capacity announced, don't carry away by this one. Okay, so much excess capacity going to be created in the market. So the integrated capacity, whatever announced so far, the integrated capacity coming up is only 25 to 30% of the total capacity announced. See, that is the at least data I am getting. So, for example, even today, if I take up what all the projects announced together, it is around 75 to 80 megawatt of the projects, various bases. But in that, 80 million tons. In that, if you really see the integrated capacity, it is around 15 to 20 million only. The balance are all grinding capacities. That is not going to increase the real capacity in a big way, or surplus capacity in a big way.
Okay, so sir, 15 to 20 million tons of integrated capacity, can I assume for the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, next 18 to 24. It all depends upon. Okay, now with the COVID and with the various projects delayed, maybe you can take 24 to 30 months you can take.
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Prateek Kumar from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, sir. My first question is on price increases. You mentioned that in your prior remarks as well as in your press release that we are interacting with dealers to educate them about the cost. So how much price increase we have been able to take, like post-monsoon, September, in October, and how much more we are looking to take to have an offsetting impact on cost inflation?
No, I don't want to put any particular numbers on that because these are all very fluctuating, and these are all nowadays these things are all purview of so many agencies. So please don't pose that question to us. Okay, we are trying our best to pass on the whatever cost increase to the consumers.
Okay. My second question
it differs market to market and also segment to segment. So I can't commit a particular number, but definitely we are trying our best to pass on the whatever cost increase to the consumers.
Okay, we are trying to be premium.
And we are also, as I told, we are also trying our best to improve our quality of the cement and also quality of the service, and want to be the premium cement everywhere, wherever we market also.
Sure. And sir, in Tamil Nadu state particularly, there's some noise around government launching some brand. Is this significant or is it very relevant in terms of quantity of volume sold by then?
Sorry, I'm not has announced. It's a very, very small plant.
Okay, so that should be irrelevant, that volume of my brand.
We should not say anything is irrelevant, but okay, with our quality, with our service, definitely we shall see that our premiumness not coming down, or what we can retain our customers.
Okay, and my second question is on CapEx, just a follow-up of prior questions. So in our annual report also, we mentioned about like we are trying to build futuristic capacities with ability to add more units in future, where we talked about Kurnool CapEx going up from 1,600 crore to 2,400 crores, and there was some increase at Jayanti as well. So all this is factored in 1,300 crore this year and 500 crore CapEx of FY23?
Yeah, you are right. See, that is why I see during the project itself, our ideas undergone some change in the sense, okay, the future projects should come up fast, so that whatever certain infrastructure we can create now itself for the further expansions we started creating now itself, so that made us to incur extra cost. But the future expansion, not only they reduce the cost, also reduce the time. So instead of 24 months, we can complete in 12 months also, or 15 months also. Okay, to that extent, certain infrastructures have been already provided or created in the beginning stage itself.
Thanks, sir. I'll get back to the queue.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Harsh Mittal from Systematics Group. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah, please.
Thanks for taking my question. I have a question about on the leverage position. As per the last con call, we were Ramco gave a guidance about debt reduction of about 11 to 12 billion in this fiscal year. So are we currently on? Is this guidance maintained, or there is some change due to the higher working capital?
This fiscal definitely I'm not expecting, but next fiscal much more than that we'll do that. Whatever guidance given, we'll do much more than that. See, also we explain. Also it depends upon capital expenditure incurred. So at that time I have not announced the debt reduction, not because of reduction in cash flow, but because of the capital expenditure we announced later.
Got your point. So any number which you can give for FY23?
No, are you very particular about debt reduction or our growth?
For the debt reduction, for debt reduction.
So you don't want to grow, just you want only debt reduction.
No, but we have been given around 30 billion. So can we expect around that number?
That is why I'm asking whether you want us to grow or not to grow. Only just I had to concentrate only on debt reduction, or wherever growth possibilities are there and my EBITDA will go up significantly, I should concentrate on that.
Right, sir. Some second question.
Because we should also get some guidance from you people now. Okay, somebody is asking debt reduction, somebody is asking about growth. How to balance that?
Got your point, sir. So I wanted to ask about the advertising budget for this fiscal. Hello.
Yeah, tell me. Sorry.
Sir, advertisement expenses budget for this fiscal?
It'll be around 80 crores.
80 crores, and how much have we spent for it up till now, 6 months?
Around 35 crores.
Okay.
Sorry, 30 crores. We spent 30 crores.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Indrajit from CLSA. Please go ahead.
My questions have been answered.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Shravan Shah from Dolat Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Sir, just wanted a clarification for that. First is Coonoor clinker, you said it will be coming in November, December, in next 1 or 2 months, or it will be by March 22 it will come?
Oh, no, November, December definitely it will come.
Okay. Second is in terms of the debt front. So currently our gross debt is 3,500 odd crores. So by March end, it will remain in the same range, or it can come down by 500 odd crores?
See again, this depends upon my working capital. This one also. Today, I have to secure more power coal also. See, the problem is for the same quantity of coal, when the rate becomes 3 times, see, my working capital goes up also. See, the working capital definitely there is increase of 250 crores, but not because of quantity alone, because of the value also. See, these things, if tomorrow the prices comes down, definitely my working capital requirement will come down by 200, 300 crores. So either I can use that for capex or reduce the debt. So all these it depends upon the cost.
Okay, got it. 2 more points, sir. We have opted for the new tax rate. So from the third quarter onwards, we will be having a 25-26% tax rate. So the difference between PBT and PAT would be that. So is there any further adjustment in terms of deferred tax, MAT? Anything is left or everything is done and now we
everything's done. Everything's done.
Okay. And lastly, sir, some data points on the trade, non-trade mix, OPC, PPC, railroad mix for this quarter.
So that will vary, sir. That will vary. See, that is why suppose tomorrow my main market Kerala becomes open, then definitely my trade, because we are selling almost 91% of our sale in Kerala is only trade. So those things, see, our main focus is on trade. 100% our main focus will be only on trade. Okay, non-trade also we are there because of maybe we have to associate with the big project, then only our brand image can go up. And, see, there are certain compelling reasons why we are going for non-trade also. Otherwise, Ramco Cement will be more concentrating only on trade. And we are the people who set up good R&D to propagate what is the advantage of blended cement. So definitely always we are trying our best to sell more of blended cement, also more in trade segment.
Sir, I was asking more on for the Q2. What was the trade mix and what was the OPC, PPC, and what was the? That is not
representative. That is what I'm telling. See, whatever the Q2 is not representative because most of my markets, the trade was affected because of COVID or because of monsoon. So whatever number is not representative. See, otherwise normally our OPC, PPC will be normally it will be 10 to 12% OPC. Balance will be the blended cement. Normally, non-trade will be around 10 to 15%, 88% will be trade, normally.
Okay. I thought maybe whatever would be the number, though it is not, one can be looking at on the sustainable basis.
Because totally irrelevant. Whatever Q2 is not representative at all. So that is why I given you normally this is our target. You can take this.
Okay. And what is the premium, sir, currently?
See, in our core market, whatever cement we are selling at premium over other brands. And there are certain cement like Super Grade and maybe the mortar like Super Processor. All these things are sold at least 25-30 rupees more than our own brand. See, the overall contribution of our premium cement will be 21%.
Okay. Lastly, sir, is it possible, have you taken around 30-40 rupees price hike in October?
So that is why I told you in a different market has taken differently. So you can have your own channel check. That is why I'm telling. See, these things I can't commit. This one, see, whatever information given to stock exchange only I can discuss. Other than that, both of us in trouble.
Okay, no issue, sir. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Ritesh Shah from Investec. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I just wanted to understand, you indicated 15% of fuel inflation. Is this including AFR or is this excluding AFR on a sequential basis, sir?
Including everything.
And sir, how much would it be excluding AFR? I'm just trying to understand because you indicated that.
No, that is why I told you now. See, that we are if you ask me today, I don't have a big source. We are searching for the source because whatever AFR we have procured has become 4 times today. The price become 4 times, it become unviable. Not only cheaper, it become unviable. So we stopped that sources. So that is why I can't give you the particular number. Whatever 15% is spending based on the normal fuel.
Sure. Sir, under a normal scenario, what is our typical fuel sourcing strategy? Like what type of contracts do we get in? If you can help us understand that would be very useful, sir.
It depends upon market conditions. If the prices are falling, to see our experiences, we are also at this time, the company 40 years, I know the cycle. So when I am able to judge the prices come down below certain levels which cannot be sustained, then we will go up even 6 months, 7 months stock. Also, if it go above certain levels which cannot be sustained, I may go for spot purchase of 1 or 2 months. Otherwise, normally we maintain 3 to 4 months stock.
Okay. And sir, how do you plan things for February and March? Because as you indicated, petcoke prices, thermal coal, everything is shooting off the roof. So basically, will the production profile be a problem? I'm sure it will never be a problem for a company like Ramco. But sir, how should one get comfort? Because it's a question of production profile versus the cost.
I told you now. I told you earlier. I maintain 3.5 months stock. This one. So I am just whatever stock consumed, I buy immediately.
Okay. And sir, second question was on pricing and discounts. While the volume growth has been really encouraging, I was just looking at the peer set who has reported so far, though it's not a like-to-like comparison. We see a steep decline in pricing. So just wanted to understand, sir, is there any change in discounting policy in prior quarter versus the reported quarter?
No, cannot be.
Okay.
We never adjust discounts to quarter on. We never adjust discounts to show our profits. Whatever discount pass on, will account same day.
Okay. So the gross price
there's no change in discount policy. Also, we are consistent for last 40 years.
Okay, so it is the gross pricing which has declined on a sequential basis, and that's the reason why we see a lower realization, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So is it declined only for Ramco Cement?
So I can, sir, quantify the numbers. Yes, sir. So for ACC, it's a decline of 48 rupees. For Heidelberg, it was 12. For us, it's 263 versus Ultratech. It
all depends upon what is the discount you are giving the invoice also. So the Heidelberg cannot be 12 when the ACC is 40 rupees.
Correct. Perfect, sir. Probably I'll connect with you.
It all depends upon how the invoice is prepared.
Right. Sir, thank you so much. I'll connect for this separately, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Rahul Jain from Systematics. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my question. Sir, also thanks for a very detailed presentation. Sir, I also was seeing that you are increasing capacity in the dry mix. So where are we currently, and what do you think, how big are these markets for waterproofing and other things that you mentioned?
So today we have dry mix plant in Chennai, and we are going to have 4 more dry mix plant, one in my Aranagar plant, another one in Salem, then one in Vizag, one in Jayantipuram, then in Orissa. The market is big. Definitely, we are also already whatever products we produce from our Chennai plant is accepted by certain consumers exclusively. Just we are not expanded in big way. See, whatever this one is sold 100% to few customers. So with that experience, we thought definitely we can expand the dry mix in a very big way. So that for even the trial basis, we are starting 4 plants. So once the number of products or whatever the products we establish market is accepted, So definitely another 10-15 plants we try to put up. We also launched the super faster a mortar plant in three of our factories also.
First products.
That is the first product to come up.
Right. Thanks, sir. And sir, also on the volume side, if I heard you correctly, so should the second quarter volume be taken as the baseline, and for the future quarters, at least that number would be maintained in the near term? Is that how we should look at? I mean, what sense are you getting on the demand front, and from whatever trade your channel checks and other things? What sense are you getting, sir?
Demand is good. There's no problem. Yes, but for the rains, there is one thing. Even we have unseasonal rains in the month of October in Kerala and certain parts of the country. But for that, the normal day, we are seeing very good demand. Demand is not a problem.
So we can increase the utilization level much more from, or this is the kind of number which is generally...
We can increase our utilization level.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Before we move to the next question, we would like to remind participants to ask a question. You may enter star and 1. We have the next question from the line of Amit Murarka from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity again. So I was asking, we are seeing fuel prices moving up, even freight is moving up substantially. So what kind of profitability is happening in East for you, given these cost factors now? And East prices generally actually have not been doing well. So just wanted to understand in that context.
No, I can't give you the exact number, but we are not selling at loss. We are making, without making profit, how we will not sell any market. So definitely, again, the East market was not settled because the East market, very well, it was affected by COVID, followed by heavy rains, then Puja holidays. In fact, after the month of, in this financial year, maybe in another, maybe after Diwali only, the real market is you should see. Otherwise, the East, definitely the demand-wise market is growing. Definitely the prices will be decent. I am confident that the prices will also go up, and good profit can be maintained.
Sure. But is it fair to think or say that if, let's say, East prices don't move up and profits are not that great, then you would want to move away from that situation, or would you still focus on volume market share, even if, let's say, margins are lower?
You advise me what I should do.
No, I'm just asking you. I mean, obviously...
You advise me. You're also experienced people. You please tell us, after investing maybe 1,500 crores in Bengal, Orissa, Vizag, all these things, what we should do.
No, I guess maybe you should try to maintain your market share. Maybe profits and margins can come later if I have to think like that.
Yeah, we are sensible. We'll take your advice. Definitely we'll do that.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Rajesh Ravi from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. You mentioned that your OPC in your total production mix is around 10%. However,
so normally I told you 10%. It may be more or not to quarters. Normally, yeah. Normally we
on a broad basis, 10 to 15%. Rest everything is blended. However, if I look at your cement to clinker ratio, that would not be more than 1.3x. So, generally companies who are doing more than 80% blended cement are having a blending, cement to clinker ratio of 1.5. So, what am I missing here?
See, missing here in the sense, we don't manufacture slag cement. See, the people are having slag cement, and most of the people. See, we don't have slag cement. Since also we are manufacturing very value-added products, where the blending ratio can be less because we are giving the benefit of both OPC as well as the benefit of blended cement. So there are certain, some blends will be low, some blends will be depending upon variety of the cement we are supplying.
Okay. Great, sir. That's all from my end. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Raghav Maheshwari from AMSEC. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Congratulations for the good set of result in this difficult high-cost pressure scenario. And thanks for the detailed presentation you have uploaded on the Excel. Sir, my question on the front of basically on the working capital, what is the reason of, other than the power and fuel cost, higher working capital? on the year-on-year basis?
Only both has gone up. Nothing else has gone up.
There is just power and fuel cost only?
Yeah, because there is some premium. Last year, same time, my petcoke purchase price was $50.
Okay.
See, for the same volume, please imagine how much, for same volume, even I maintain the same volume, then 300% more I should have the working capital. See, in cement industry, only three things only, because raw materials are our own. See, the limestone may not be big inventory cost. See, what is going to be? This is only power, fuel, and debtors.
Right. And
the debtors under control. The only thing gone up is the power, the fuel stocks.
Understood, sir. And the Kurnool capacity of the 1 million ton of the cement, has we already ordered, or is it pending for the order? With the
No, it's already ordered. Construction is coming up. All equipments all received. Commissioning is going on.
Okay, so by the year end of FY23, it will be commissioned?
No, it will commission by April, May. April 22.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question, you may enter star and 1. We have the next question from the line of Ritesh Shah from Investec. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity again. So just wanted to understand if it's possible for you to qualify what sort of incentives have we entailed on the expansions that we've already done so far in the recent past and the ones which are pending?
We don't have any incentives. We don't get any incentive from the government.
So from none of the state governments?
Yeah, none of state governments. Okay, Bengal, in the paper we are eligible for certain incentives, but the government has not come with the first notification after GST. The last 5 years, Bengal government has not clarified what is going to be, or post GST, what is going to be the incentive structure. They are not announced. Okay, Orissa clearly told that they are not going to give any incentive for the cement.
Okay.
So there are 2 states where we expanded. So Andhra again, paper we are entitled for some benefit, but reality we number 1 we can't avail. Number 2, when the money will come, nobody knows.
Sir, for Andhra, how much is the incentive, and why is it specific to us that we can't avail? Is there a specific reason?
No, whether anybody has availed in Andhra.
Sir, AP, I'm not sure. Orissa, yes.
Orissa, no. There is the government order is very clear. If you want, I will send you the copy of the notification. The cement plants are not eligible for the sales tax benefit and the new industrial policy. The industrial policy was announced some 3 years back. Not today. It is 3-4 years back.
Okay. So probably I'll connect with you.
Maybe old plants might have been eligible for sales tax benefit, not plants which have come up for last 3-4 years. No, the notification is available on the public site. It's not my private document. If you want, I can give you the notification copy.
Right, sir. That would be useful, sir. Would really appreciate that. I'll drop you a line.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Deepshika Pasari from Millennium Mams. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Congratulations on a fantastic volume number given the circumstances. So my first question is your capacity utilization guidance in Q1 was 100% given by you. So does this still hold? And so my second question is that clinker capacity for FY22 stands at 13.65 million tons. How will this service the 20 million tons of grinding capacity that Ramco has?
See, I never given the guidance of 100% capacity utilization.
But for H2.
H2 also, we can give the 100% capacity utilization. We can never give the guidance. See, definitely what means, do you mean to say I given you 100% growth? See, last year our sales was 10 million. Do you mean to say I given you? See, what we have done is last year March we had done 100% capacity utilization. That is thing I told.
Yes, sir.
See, we never given the guidance of 100% capacity utilization. It's not also not possible. Let us be very frank. So definitely we can grow little higher than the industry. because geographically we are diversifying in the east and all these places, and we are having infrastructure to reach many of the new markets. So definitely our capacity utilization will be better than the maybe certain segments of market like South. If you compare with South companies, definitely will be better. If you compare with certain Eastern companies, our this one is either equal or it will be better than that. Number one. Number two, yes, you are right. Our clinker will be around 13.65 to 14 million tons. With the blended, because we are going in the east, definitely we can go for more slag cement also. With that, definitely we can have a 19.5 to 20 million tons.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Now some friend asked me now, the others are having 1.5. Why you should not go to 1.5? Definitely we are. If I achieve 1.5, then definitely our capacity is 31,
right.
Not even 20. So definitely we can. With that, my number is right. 20 million tons is our capacity. With 14 million tons clinker into 1.5 is 21.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Participants, if you have a question, you may enter star and 1. We have the next question from the line of Raghav Maheshwari from AMSEC. Please go ahead.
So what is the percentage of volume we have for particularly in the east out of total volume we have?
The east, maybe in average we will be doing around 17 to 20%. Sometimes it may be more. Suppose, for example, Kerala demand is low. Definitely last quarter we might spend something more to the east also, depending upon our ability to spend. So normally this one is 17 to 20% is our.
And so is this possible you to quantify the year-on-year growth in the east, particularly for H1?
So that is what I'm saying. H1 is not representative because our main market like Kerala, Karnataka, all these things can be affected by monsoon and all these things. So it's not representative. So normally, I told you, normally our percentage will be maybe 20-22%.
Maximum we are doing 22%, right? On average, we can take 20% in the east.
Yeah, 20 to 22% you can take.
Okay, got it, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have the next question from the line of Sanjay Nandi from Ratnabali Investment. Please go ahead.
So we just found out that they had a good volume growth in a QOQ basis. Like, can you just quantify what kind of volume growth happened for the South and the East India?
Sorry, I can't give that.
Okay, sir. Okay. So any price scenario, like what kind of pricing scenario is just prevailing as of now, like Ultratech?
From October 1st onwards, definitely we are trying our best to pass on the cost increase in different markets. Different markets absorb a little bit more, some markets a little bit less. But maybe after Deepavali only we'll get clear picture of what market accepts the price increase.
So did we take any price hike in the first week of October as on date?
Yeah, we have taken. In different markets, we have taken different price hikes.
So it's in eastern part or in the southern part or both?
Mostly in southern parts. Eastern part is little less. They have taken, but it's not a significant price increase.
Okay. That's it from my side. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. And with that, on behalf of ICICI Securities Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.